Shasha Gakulu FC manager. How are you doing?
Good evening. Good evening. I'm well. How are you?
We're great. We're great. We're great. We're not going to take too much of your time. Game week 34. I think let's talk about captaincy because it seems like you don't have a Salah and you're going with the Saka. Uh, is this your option, or are you looking to bring in another Liverpool asset, say Mo Salah?
Thanks. Look, I think for Kulu FC, the plan was always to get in as many players as you can possibly get to get you decent amount of points. Obviously, that goes without saying. We all gravitate to the template team. But what I've just realized, especially after like the first double game week, where when you look at the teams that had doubles and you look at how they performed, you look at your game week 30, game week 31, the template players didn't necessarily perform the way we all expected them to perform on paper. That is. So for me, Salah, yes, I'd love to have Salah in my team, but in order for the team to progress, I'd decided let me rather spread the funds from him and look elsewhere. When the season started, I was very principled on that. Is that I need to allow the funds to produce more assets than just putting it all in one bucket. And for me, Salah hasn't necessarily hit the vein of form that we all want. I definitely won't be bringing him in now. Not for game week 34. He just wasn't in my plan. But when you look at someone like Asaka, I think Arsenal have been playing good football. Obviously, they kind of didn't capitalize on the opportunities that they had against Aston Villa. They had a really strong first half. Saka also had a couple of opportunities. And that second half, I just think Villa just played better. Arsenal were unlucky. And looking at how Arsenal's been playing, looking at the league table, really they are the team to beat. They are the team to prove to everybody that lightning doesn't strike twice in one place. What we're hoping, and I just feel that Saka is a better captain in this regard. Just taking off all that pressure on Salah, because I know most FPL managers will probably be captaining Salah. And I'm also just hoping that my luck, a Saka hat trick, is just going to spin everything around. Not to take anything away from Salah, he's obviously a great asset. His points speak for himself. But when I'm looking at an Arsenal, a wounded Arsenal, that needs to bounce back after that Villa loss, and two relatively, I wouldn't say easy fixtures, but they fixtures that are going to require them to bring out their best. And I really feel that Saka's the man to look to in this regard. And, hopefully I can continue having that reign of form of the Green Arrows.
Okay, very well. Thank you for your long declaration. You talk about the template, and a lot of people are rushing for double game week players. Please tell us, who do you think then is essential if essential double game week players for this game week?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got to look at your Arsenal assets. You've got to look at your Liverpool assets. You've got to look at Crystal Palace assets. Wolves maybe, Bournemouth. But for me, I think it's definitely stocking up on your Arsenal and Liverpool. And it's in our interest, to really look at those assets because both those teams lost. So they both have a lot to prove. their fixtures aren't as straightforward as they look. If you look at the likes of Liverpool, like on paper, you would think, Fulham Everton, it's just a walk in the park. But if you look at Fulham's last game, I mean, they played really well. Everton, they didn't have a great fixture, so you'd probably say that fixture kind of favors Liverpool. And then when we're talking Liverpool assets, you've got your Louis Diaz, who I've got. You've got your Darwin Núñez, who I've got. You've got your Mo Salah, which obviously that's what everybody is banking on. In the defense as well, maybe you might be looking at like a young Virgil van Dijk. I think Trent is back now at right back, so he's also a nice person to look out for. But I don't think I would favor him now, because he hasn't played for a couple of games. I mean, with his injury, so I really don't see Klopp playing him full 180 minutes both games. He probably might get 60 minutes in the one, or might even come off the bench. So maybe not look at Trent. But when you look at Louis Diaz, I think like he's reaching his peak now. As we said, it's the back end of the season. He's the one player that I just see when you look at how Liverpool is playing. He's most likely in the action, always looking to put in those balls, take those shots. And then we look at Darwin Núñez. This guy. He's got so much potential, but it hasn't really clicked as yet. We always see glimpses of him performing well, and I'm really hoping that like with Fulham and Everton, that he'll just get that opportunity where if he is in front of goal, he'll put it away. Then you look at your Arsenal assets. Obviously, you got your Saka, who I've got. Your Gabriel, can never go wrong with Gabriel in defense. He gives you that aerial threat whenever there are corners to be won. You also look at the likes of your Salibas, your Ben White. I've actually been looking at Ben White closely these past couple of games. His numbers are really, really great. He's making good moves in the opposition box. He's really getting high up there, getting those crosses in. So he's also someone that I am considering. And then obviously with Raya in goal as well. I believe that Arsenal's got the best defense this season. I think they've conceded the least amounts of goals, so they're really, really solid at the back. Obviously, not forgetting the previous game, but in general, I think those are the two teams. Obviously, when you look at your Crystal Palace, you've got Eze there as well, who is going to be the savior for some. You've got Elise as well. So you quite sport for choice. But for me, this double Gameweek 34, I feel it's not the game week to target really, because there's also double Gameweek 35 and 37. So I think for managers really, it's just trying to strike a balance. As long as you have some assets that have got doubles in this 34, you have assets that are doubling in 35, and then we all plan for 37. Well, one thing I love about the Premier League is that it's never over until it's over. Your team might not win, but there's going to be goals. Your assets will produce, whether it's an assist or a goal. So yeah, I think if you've definitely got your Arsenal assets, Liverpool assets, you're good. You can also look at your Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, the likes of your Solanke. Because again, like you can have all these players that have got doubles and they disappoint you. So yeah, I think that's how I'm looking at it as with what I have. I think I should be all right. Looking at that double in 35 and trying to really build a solid team for 37.
So, going into your plans, then, how many transfers do you have for this game week, and what transfers are you looking to make then? To keeping in mind what you said of making sure that you're balanced and targeting the right game week. not game week 34.
All right. No, well, I think um, the tide kind of turned for Shashakud. I think it was game week 30. Game week 30 and 31. I think that's where really the team performed like well. I mean, when I look at how the other teams performed, I had the likes of your Phil Foden scoring a hat trick in game week 31. I had the likes of Cole Palmer scoring a hat trick in 31. Um, and what that made me realize is that you don't necessarily have to always just go for the template. You don't have to go for what everybody else is going for in terms of captaincy. Sometimes just allowing the team that you've decided to pick to play out its course. It's really helped because now in this game week 34, I rolled in game week 33, so I had two free transfers. I had Douglas Luiz on my bench. I decided to ship him out for Luis Diaz. So I still got one more free transfer. At the moment, I'm not really sold on who to use that on. But I did mention the likes of your Ben White. I think he's a really nice asset. I like how he's playing with Arsenal. I like his advanced movement up front there. But also, when I look at my midfield, maybe the likes of like a Phil Foden. He got his knock for the first leg of the Champions League. He didn't play in the Premier League, and I think Pep kind of did that deliberately. He did not want to expose him to anything in the Premier League. If he definitely plays tonight, I don't see him playing on Saturday. I feel he's Pep's key player. If he does play a full 90 today against Madrid, if Man City does win with him, I don't see him playing against Brighton. So I'm also considering that maybe I should look at bringing in Eze in that midfield, or Elise, just purely to spread the assets over the teams, because I feel like if I triple on Arsenal, yeah, it may work, it may not work, or a triple on Liverpool, it may not work. I'd much rather look at the other teams. Maybe look at like a Crystal Palace assets. If I feel that if Foden plays tonight, then I'll definitely be shipping Foden out. If not, then maybe like I can see if Augusto will kind of make way, but also take into consideration that Chelsea's got a double in 35. So then maybe I'd much rather look like at like a Konsa. But yeah, I think more or less with the one transfer that I've already made, which was Douglas Luiz for Luis Diaz, and then that other free, I think I'll just play it by the ear, see how the games go tonight, and then I'll make that decision.
All right. Thank you, Manager Sasha Okule FC. That was a very nice in-depth analysis of your team. I don't think we have any further questions. Thank you.
Sbonk.